Hello. So, Twinkle, a fantastic teacher resource, has given us a brilliant little PowerPoint that we can use for our meteorology unit. So, let's learn all about clouds. The learning objective is to understand how clouds form and the different types of clouds. We call it learning intention, of course. We're going to learn how clouds form, although I believe Year 6 as well as Year 5 have done the water cycle recently, so you know how clouds form. And you're going to learn how to identify the different types of clouds and to observe some weather conditions, which you're doing across the week anyway. Okay, for a starter, if we were in school, of course you'd all pop your hands up to say what you already know about clouds. But sadly, we're not all together in the same space, so have a little think. What do you know? What would you pop your hand up and be bold and brave and share in class? Twinkle has given us some ideas. So, we know that clouds are made up of billions of tiny droplets of water. You may or may not know that very high clouds are made of ice crystals as their temperature is so low, so less than or minus 30 degrees centigrade. Clouds reflect sunlight, which makes them appear white. So even on a day like today, the clouds appear white, and I can't see the sunshine. Yeah, let me turn it around so you can see. I have a funny little curtain thing up because it's not exactly a room here, it's more of a corridor. Anyway, the clouds appear white. There's no sign of blue sky. And they're reflecting sunlight, which means I have to have that little curtain up, pretend curtain up to stop the light shining in my eyes. Some clouds appear to be grey because they are thicker, so sunlight can't pass through. There are 10 main types of cloud, each one bringing its own type of weather. And a cumulus cloud can hold an amount of water equal to the weight of 10 elephants. I did not know that. That's heavy. Okay. So these key terms ought to be familiar to you, especially Year 5 who did the water cycle within lockdown, so at least within the last 10 weeks or so. Evaporation, condensation, water vapour, condensation nuclei and prevailing wind. There's one of those which I'm less familiar with, but pause the video here, have a little think what each of those key terms mean. So, evaporation is the process when water turns from a liquid to a gas. Condensation is the process when water vapour turns into a liquid. Water vapour is water held in the air as a gas. Condensation nuclei, the one I was less familiar with, are microscopic particles of dust, smoke or salt in the atmosphere onto which water vapour condenses to form cloud droplets. So I knew that process, but I didn't know the term. Condensation nuclei. Nuclei meaning the centre of something. Prevailing wind is the most common wind direction. Prevailing means the most common of something. So your prevailing mood might be elation or something less positive. So the process of how clouds form. We know from understanding the water cycle that warm air starts to rise upwards. The air contains water vapour that has been evaporated from the sea, rivers, lakes and other bodies of water. After that, as the warm air rises, it cools, and cool air can't hold as much water vapour as warm air. Then water vapour condenses into tiny dust particles called condensation nuclei in the air, forming a cloud droplet. Those cloud droplets are so tiny they can stay afloat on air currents. Billions of cloud droplets together form a cloud. If the cloud droplets join up to make larger, heavier droplets, so around 2 millimetres or more, they can fall as rain, the posh word of which is precipitation. So there are 3 basic types of cloud. Cirrus clouds, these are the highest clouds in the atmosphere and are made of ice crystals. They appear as wispy streaks. Cirrus is Latin for wisp of hair. Cirrus, can you say cirrus? Stratus clouds or stratus clouds are featureless cloud like a layer of fog. They bring rain, drizzle and damp weather. Stratus is Latin for layer. Cumulus clouds. These are the most common type of cloud. They are puffy white clouds. Oopsie. Get rid of that one. They're puffy white clouds and they form on sunny days but can form into thunderclouds. Cumulus is Latin for a heap or pile. I think the Latin description is really helpful. So a heap or pile of clouds. Have a look at the picture. Where's my arrow button gone? Why is that not working now? There it is. Stratus, layer of cloud, and cirrus, wispy clouds. Wispy, layer, heap or pile. Okay, here's a diagram which you're going to have a go later at producing. So, cumulonimbus, my favourite cloud type, or cloud word at least, cumulonimbus, say it in a silly accent. You know from your video that you began with that there are different layers within the atmosphere and clouds only form within the troposphere. The troposphere can be divided into low, mid and high, and cumuloclouds are the ones that form high up and are, well, as we learned before, those heaped clouds, heaps or piles of cloud. Nimbus clouds bring rain, and what you'll find is that each of these subtype of cloud, so the three main types plus these subtypes of clouds, are a combination of the names cirrus, stratus and cumulus, and they'll give an indication of how high they are within the troposphere. So, for example, cirrostratus clouds are a high layer, where are they? High layer of wispy clouds. Cirro being wispy, stratus being high. No, wispy and a layer of. Yeah. Okay. And nimbus clouds can bring rain, and alto clouds are those on the mid layer. So if it's got a prefix of alto, then it's in the mid layer of the troposphere. Now, you might notice on the resource that's downloadable, you don't have to use this resource, that's not today's activity, but if you want to, it's a really nice thing to have a go at. The resource is to look at the sky on different days and spot what clouds you can see. So you're going to study the sky and identify different types of cloud. What you might notice on this resource is it says secondary. So this is a Key Stage 3 secondary school resource. You wouldn't be expected to learn this for Key Stage 2. However, we're ambitious. We want to give you something that will stretch you a little bit, and we know that you're all capable of learning about these things. Plus, my two boys who are both in secondary school safely say they haven't learnt any of this in secondary school, so we think we're giving you access to something that you wouldn't get by secondary. And like I say, this is a nice activity. Okay, so the types of clouds as you might see them in the sky instead of a picture drawing. Cirrus, those wisps of hair clouds. Cirrocumulus, cirrostratus, altocumulus. Can you remember what altos meant? Yeah, mid layer. So those heaps or piles of clouds at a mid layer in the troposphere. Stratocumulus. So heaps or piles that are almost forming a solid layer, and then that solid layer, stratus. Cumulus clouds, those heaps or piles of clouds, and a cumulonimbus. Cumulonimbus, there it is. Looks almost like a mushroom cloud or something ominous, except it's white, pearly white. Altostratus, so it's higher up, you can still see the sun coming through over this city by the sea. Nimbostratus. Nimbo means it might bring rain, so look out of your window now and see. Do you think the clouds are going to bring rain? You're a meteorologist, remember? And here, pause the video when you need to, but here's some questions for you. Can you name 3 clouds that are found at high altitude? Are high altitude clouds made up of raindrops or ice crystals? Can you explain your answer? Which type of clouds bring thunder and lightning? And which type of clouds usually mean good weather? Which type of clouds can cause snow in winter? And can you name 3 clouds which are low-level clouds? And which 2 types of clouds extend vertically through the troposphere? Which cloud types would you least like to be outdoors for? And can you explain your answer? Of course, you might really enjoy rainy weather. And as an extension, have a look outside your window and what types of clouds can you see? Write down their name and the weather that they bring. Okay, did we meet the learning objective? So you understand how clouds form and you've had an introduction to the different types of clouds. Now, your activity, let me just show you. Where are we? Your activity today is to come up with your own diagram. It's going to have annotations or labels on your diagram. You can use a bit of artistic flair and some different resources that you might have around the house to do your cloud types diagram, but they must have those annotations on, okay? And that's your chance to show what you've learnt. And please do send us a picture because we love seeing what you've done. Okay, that's it for now. Bye.